As the call for the restructuring of Nigeria gains momentum, leaders from the 19 states that make up the northern part of the country are asking for the devolution of more powers to the federating units as against the current structure, which gives enormous powers to the center. They say devolution of power will address some of the imbalances and agitations across the country. They were speaking at a two-day conference in Kaduna with the theme, The North and the Future of the Nigerian Federation, organized by the Arewa Research and Development Project.
Creating a paradigm shift for the Nigerian state has been the agitation of various groups across the country for some time now. So it is no surprise that the theme of this event has this hall filled with governors, lawmakers, and academia from the northern region in Kaduna State. The convener of the conference, Dr. Usman Bugaje, spells out the primary objective and why they are gathered.
One immediate objective of the conference is to bring clarity, accuracy, and precision to the debate on the future of the Nigerian Federation. This is necessary because at the moment there is a lot of confusion about what a federation is supposed to be.
For the governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, the importance of the subject should not give rise to any condescending attitude from anyone, but should be seen as an opportunity for an all-inclusive participation.
Let us be clear, the North wants restructuring as much as anyone else. However, as a people, we do not easily jump onto the bandwagon because we are always there for the long haul. We believe that any decision we take must be inclusive and respect procedures and processes so that the outcome is sustainable.
But there are those like Professor Ango Abdullahi who is cautious of the whole restructuring discourse, seeing it as an attempt to discredit President Muhammadu Buhari and the North in general.
Some of the things that we are being accused of now and that are leading to this so-called debate on restructuring are things that we have watched happening to us in the last 15, 16 years, since 1999. But the North, as usual, has exercised restraint and patience, and for things to blow away in the usual way they did over the decades that Nigeria has been put together by Lord Lugard since 1914.
The Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Bala Bantex, sums it up by laying to rest the notion that the North is against restructuring.
To the views held outside the North, that the North is not interested or committed to restructuring, everybody here is saying that the North has abundant reasons to ask for a restructuring of the country. That is one important thing that is coming out of this, and I'm sure the reasons behind this assertion will come out of the conference at the end of the day. The imbalances that exist, for example, in federal appointments, the civil service. Of course, the North has issues that they would like this country to look at.
Pockets of discussion like this are useful, but may not be enough to drive the needed results as divergent views will arise. Perhaps an open meeting where all thoughts can be relayed might just be what the country needs to arrive at a consensus that will be in the best interest of the nation.
For more reports on the news at 10, we'll rejoin Amarachi in our Lagos studio.
Thanks a lot, Ibrahim. Back here in Lagos, men of the Nigeria Army who are fighting Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast have been counting their gains, recounting their successes in the ongoing fight against insurgency. They say at least 230 former Boko Haram captives now have a new lease of life after they were rescued by soldiers. While accounting for their activities in the northeast, the theater commander of Operation Lafia Dule, Major General Ibrahim Atahiru, says the army will continue to ensure the safety of lives and property in the region.
Since it launched its campaign of violence, Boko Haram has posed a security challenge requiring the Nigerian military to dissipate enormous resources in protecting the nation's territorial integrity. deaths of over 20,000 persons, even displacement of about 2 million people are all the fallout of the activities of the group that is globally recognized as most deadly. For the Nigerian army, the insurgency is a battle that must be won, and already many successes have been recorded in the campaign.
The next is about Jubrin.
The reason for this gathering is to provide an overview of the Operation Lafia Dole, the military operation charged with the mandate of bringing the militancy in Nigeria's northeast to an end.
Some of the operations led to the killing of 2 Boko Haram key commanders, Abdu Kawuri and Abubakar Benishek, in a successful operation on the 1st of September 2017 at Alafa in Bama local government area. Additionally, a prominent Boko Haram terrorist commander, Baba Ibrahim, and 2 other commanders died after sustaining injuries during the last encounter with our special forces in an ambush at Magomeri.
The successes are not only in dissipating the terrorists, it's also in busting its intelligence base.
Troops arrested 3 Boko Haram collaborators, namely Abubakar Aminami, Yaharam Goni Abacha, and Modu Abubakar Aminami. On the 11th of September 2017, troops deployed at Fort Operational Base arrested a suspected Boko Haram terrorist logistics supplier. Investigation revealed that the suspect was providing logistics to Boko Haram terrorists.
The over 230 former captives of the deadly group who recently regained their freedom may have the Nigerian army to thank for that liberty. However, it has not always been rosy for the soldiers who are asking for prayers and every support they can get.
President Muhammadu Buhari paid a visit to the theater of operation on the 1st of October 2017. It is pertinent to state here that the presidential visit has further strengthened our resolve to decisively deal with terrorism and insurgency in the Northeast.
The fight is not over yet, and the army is calling for calm amongst residents, insisting that the troops will at all times be guided by utmost professionalism in the operation.
Data gathering and research are key elements that will help secure the future for marketing communications and also drive effective returns to consumers. That's the position of the Advertisers Association of Nigeria, ADVAN, as captured by its president, Mrs. Folake Animumuni, who was speaking during a courtesy visit to Channels Television today. On his part, the chairman, CEO of Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, believes knowledge sharing and research should form the bedrock of the media industry.
Around data, research and insights. Until we get that right, I mean, Africa is known as the dark continent. Every single time, our parent companies, for those of us in multinationals, will say, well, we don't have any data. The grant, the aid that should flow into Nigeria isn't necessarily flowing. The money is there. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, you will find that they have different grants, but we're not tapping into some of those grants simply because we don't have the data. It's not even so much about just using the data to tap into grants. It's about making sure that our marketing spend is effective and efficient. Until we begin to demonstrate efficient return on investments and an efficient spend, our CFOs, our CEOs will refuse to sign that budget for marketing. I don't even, where are the results? We need to be able to show the results. Yeah. But beyond that is we also need to use the data just to be better at what we do. We need better data, we need more research and more insight. So we want to focus on that and see how we elevate and create and improve access to the right sort of data.
I align with all the pillars that you've mentioned, and I think that we're in good stead with them, each and every one of them, particularly knowledge sharing and, of course, the issue of data. And I think that one of the reasons why we set up our own academy, the Channels Academy, is to be able to see how we can help the industry to grow. And this is, we've really come a long way, and we're taking our strides, giant strides, as we go along. I think we'll continue to see how we can up the ante, or try and see how we can improve on our relationship. There's a lot more to do, The last time I met with the heads of the sectorial advertising group, which you alluded to, we were trying to talk about how we can really introduce data and research and make sure that's the fulcrum on which we play in the field. In every way possible, we'll work with you to make sure that all our objectives and yours and industry-wide objectives are met.
It's time now for business news. Here's Anne Mawudu.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you, Amarachi, and welcome to Business News. The World Bank today lowered its growth projection for sub-Saharan Africa from the 2.6% projection in April to 2.4% in 2017. According to the Bretton Woods Institution, the downgrade is due to a number of reasons, including Nigeria's failure to meet expectations. However, growth across the region is seen rising 3.2% in 2018 and 3.5% in 2019. The World Bank expects Nigeria's economy to expand by 1% by the end of this year. And away from that now, the International Monetary Fund has highlighted key areas for the global financial system. At the briefing today in Washington, D.C., the IMF Financial Counselor Adrian presented the October report of the state of the global financial community. Channel's business editor, El-Rufai, reports.
The latest IMF Global Financial Stability Report says the world economy is broadening, the markets are booming, and everything looks calm and good. But under the surface lies what is described as vulnerabilities to the growth that we've seen in recent years.
Despite these favorable conditions, the recovery is not yet complete. Monetary accommodation remains necessary to support activity and boost inflation. Markets expect a prolonged period of accommodation before policies will be fully normalized after years of unconventional support following the crisis. This environment is breeding complacency. Complacency is spawning financial excesses and is allowing vulnerabilities to build on several fronts.
Now, from the developed economies to emerging markets in developing countries, there are issues to be seriously addressed. For example, in sub-Saharan Africa, the rise in sovereign debt and the yield being pursued by investors around the world is a major concern.
Investors in the equities market have extended the profit-taking into today's trading session, particularly in the shares of financial services and consumer goods sectors. Let's join Emana Amawe for the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. More profit-taking hit Wednesday's trading session at the local equities market as investors locked in on previous gains recorded by bellwethers in the banking and consumer goods sector. The sell-off dragged the NSE All-Share Index further down by 0.34%, while the market's total value lowered by 43 billion naira to 12.616 trillion naira. On the activity chart, trading sentiment was almost unchanged from Tuesday's session, as 336.38 million shares changed hands in 3,689 deals, while Diamond Bank retains the most active spot for the third session this week, with 230.55 million units traded. Again, the price chart recorded 19 gainers on both sides. This time, AXA Mansard is the highest gainer, while Vitafoam emerged as the top loser. And those are the day's trading figures. I'm Emana Amawe.
And that's Business News tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mawudu. It's back to you, Amarachi.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead of the news at 10. Heartland FC of Owerri gained promotion to the Nigeria Football League after beating host First Bank of Lagos. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.